Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you're here, guys. Today we're going to take a look at a very interesting little knife I picked up from White Mountain Knives. It is a TwoSun double detent, and it is the TwoSun. It's going to be in the tile, it's going to be in the thumbnail. I want to say 241. I might be wrong. I have a lot of TwoSuns in my head. Please forgive me. But for now, we're going to call it the Bowie shaped TwoSun double detent. Before we get into this, guys, if you would, I know you know what I'm going to say or ask, please hit that subscribe button and please hit that bell notification icon. They would both greatly help me out. So this is a modern traditional folder in what I consider to be very nice materials at a very fair price. Um, so it's not a traditional in terms of having a spring. It actually has two detents. So you've got a detent that holds it in and a detent that holds it open. So it's a very light knife. B, it's a very fidgety knife because you can literally sit here and using this front flipper, one hand open this knife with really no problem. Or if you prefer, you can just treat it like a very light opening slip joint. I keep it in, where did this little case go? Well, that is odd, guys. It had a little case out here, a little coffin-shaped case. There it is. It walked with me. So currently, I either carry this empty in my pocket or I just carry it in this little leather slip by Epcot. I mispronounced that, but you could open it like a traditional front flipper. I like to just give it the reach around. Even though I reviewed a knife by this same maker, and I don't know whose maker this maker's mark signifies, but one thing I did notice is they're both double detents, but the Warncliffe comes back about another eighth of an inch on this flipper. And what it does is it gives you, for somebody with my size hands, a much easier reach around deployment. So with it coming back here, I can put my finger back here and still have something to roll off. On this Bowie, it's a little bit narrower, but it's not a problem. It still works. And guys, I'm running out of coupon book, but I still have a little bit here. This blade is S90V. It is very thin, flat ground, not thin blade stock, but super thin behind the edge. And just a paper fruit whittling machine. That S90V has got great edge retention. It is one of my favorite steels, and I'm really, really liking it on the slip joints that I have that incorporate it. The blade stock and the grinds are very thin, and they've proven the ones I've had very, very sharp. I just love the look of that and those grind lines. I don't know if you can see those, but the construction of this knife, and it is very, very light. So what you've got is you've got these carbon fiber handles, and then you've got these real thin liners that run inside. And I'm guessing, guys, those might be a 1/16 of an inch thick. Got a carbon fiber backspacer. And when we get to the scale, you'll see that this knife weighs just about nothing. So the shape of it, the size is very good. It's got a great sharpening choil. For my hand, it's a perfect 4-finger grip. Let's do a couple of quick off-beaten size comparisons against some modern folders, and then we'll look at it against a couple of slip joints. So that is the little TwoSun double detent next to the Benchmade bug out. Smaller than the Benchmade bug out. just about the same size as the Benchmade Mini Bug Out. So guys, that gives you an idea compared to a knife that you might have held or might be in your possession. I would go as far as to say the Benchmade Mini Bug Out and the little TwoSun double detent are exactly the same length. Now, the TwoSun is going to be a little thicker, but it's not going to be a lot thicker. It swells there at the end because it does have contoured handles, but the thinness and the overall weight of these knives, I would almost gamble that this knife weighs a little less than this knife. But let's take a couple of slip joints that you guys might have held. This is the QSP Hedgehog. Next to the Jack Wolf Low Drag Jack. It's a little bit smaller than both the Low Drag Jack and the Hedgehog. Let's put it up against the Sodbuster Jr. Just about the same size as the Sodbuster Jr. And let's look at it with the Boker Barlow. And it's going to be a good bit bigger than the Boker Barlow. So with that empirical information, let's take it to the tape. So we'll break out the Javon promotional tape measure. It cost me nothing except a sticker. And we will find out that this knife comes in right at 6.5 inches from the longest point. The blade is going to come in right at about 2 3/4 inches. Cutting edge right over 2.5, between 2.5 and 2 3/4. And the handle is right at about 3 3/4. Now, the area where I hold the knife takes up the whole handle. So I don't keep my hand back here behind that pivot. I actually keep my hand up on the pivot. But if you want a couple of dimensions, if you look at that inside, you're at 3 inches. If you look at the outside dimension, you're at 3.5 inches, just depending on what's most comfortable for you. So when we look at the thickness of this knife, the blade stock here at the back starts out at 1400, up at the tip, 0.068, and then the width of the overall knife is 0.4420, and the thickness behind that edge, if I can get it accurately, is 0.0165. I know that translates into thousands, guys. I'm just not that smart. Let's break out the Javon's scale, and we will see that this little knife is indeed less than 2 ounces at 0.19. If I put it in this kind of heavy slip, which this slip, if I have any drawbacks on it, it's a little thick, a little heavy. I'm gonna have to reach out to Iggy or Troy or Lancelot and see if I can't get something thinner. But that brings it up to 2.65 ounces, or if I just carry it naked, 1.9. So guys, I am trying to keep it mixed up with my overviews, reviews, so that you don't get just totally blown out with slip joints. You don't just get blown out with fixed blades. You don't get blown out with modern folders. But I can tell you that my needs and my wants are evolving. I'm getting into different knives. I do want in the comments you guys to tell me if it's distracting you from my content or if you find it a little more interesting because you might see something you didn't expect to see. The knives that I'm bringing in, that I'm buying for my collection, think of them kind of through the channel lens too. Some knives I buy just because I love them and I know that I'll just kind of give you overviews, good or bad. But some of them I see and I think, that's something that I would be interested in, and I think the channel might be interested in it. But I don't know, guys. I don't know what y'all like. All I know is I love all y'all, and I want to make sure that I'm producing content that kind of gels with the things that y'all want to see. But guys, this again is the TwoSun. I'm going to say TS247. Don't hold me to that. It'll be in the description. It'll be on the title that you click on. But really nice hollow grind S90V blade, carbon fiber handles. The only thing that's a little weird, and I think it's part of the design, the stylistics, are these three screws back here because they don't hold anything in except this little liner. And there's no reason that you would need three screws unless you were doing it for a stylistic differentiation. And that very well could be what was done. So, for a little EDC fixie or traditional, even though this isn't a traditional and it's not exactly a slip joint, it's a non-locking knife. It looks to me very traditional, even though it doesn't. I know the people that are traditional know it's not traditional. It's got screwed together parts. It's got a blade that's only reminiscent of an older blade, but I found it really neat. And the punchline of this is this knife from White Mountain Knives was like $84.95. I put in my 10% Javon 10 coupon. It brought it down another almost $9. So for well under $100, I was able to pick up a carbon fiber S90V, super cool little knife that I didn't know how I would like it because it was only my second double detent. But I do. I really do like it. If I lost it today, I would buy it tomorrow. Guys, I know a lot of y'all aren't into slip joints or into non-locking knives, but if you are, this is a nice one to look at. I could definitely give it the Javon seal of approval. I appreciate y'all for watching the video. I appreciate it if you are a subscriber and if you have hit the bell notification icon. And I really appreciate it when you look out for the guy or gal to your left, look out for the guy or gal to your right, look out for each other, go forward with love in your heart, choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.